So, I'm not making the EP today, but I do have something to talk about. Let's get into it. What's up, y'all? No writing the EP this week. It was more the same, more studying, more reading, and I didn't want to bore y'all, so I figured now would be a good time to talk. I am a huge fan of visual storytelling, and so I figured we'd have a conversation. If you're watching this on Facebook, just go to YouTube. It's a much better experience. The Facebook upload quality is trash. I'll leave the link below. Go check it out. I want to talk about how we approach life in ministry. How do you approach life in ministry? How do I approach life in ministry? Well, I believe that there are two ways that people approach life in ministry, and we all kind of fall into one of these categories. That is the red light approach and the green light approach. What does that mean? Well, gonna need a little help. Come along with me. So about this red light, green light thing. If you can see right here over my left shoulder, there's a traffic light. Of course, this traffic light has a red and a green light. And when we talk about approaching life and approaching ministry in this way, first you have a red light approach. When you feel called to a situation or to move forward in ministry, you take a red light approach. You're very cautious. You stop and you wait to hear from God before you move forward. And the green light approach is the exact opposite. When you feel called or nudged to do something in life or something in ministry, you go for it. It's a green light. You go for it. And you just kind of figure it out along the way. And that's what I mean when I say living life with a red or a green light approach. So, now that we know what the red and green light approaches are, let's talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages to the red light approach. Well, one of the things about the red light approach that is an advantage is things will usually be more accurate because you've taken the time, you've waited, and you've taken the time to really think about it, to really process it, go over the possibilities of failure and possibilities of success, and you've really kind of mauled over it a little bit and chewed it and had time with it, and that gives you a little more advantage in the arena of knowing how to do things more accurately. Another advantage to the red light approach is you probably won't make as many mistakes because, again, like I said, you've had time with this. You've thought about it a lot. You've thought about the pros. You've thought about the cons. You've had time to calculate things. So the margin of error will probably be smaller just because you've had a little more time with it and taking the red light and waiting on the go ahead from God. Now, I lean more toward this. I don't know if any of y'all know about the True Colors tests. I am a green. I am super green on it, and the green, that's analytical, that you take time to process and you like to do things accurately. And for me, that is me up and down. I like to do things with accuracy. I like to speak with accuracy. So when I'm talking, I may pause and think over something, because when I say things and when I do things, I want to represent it in a very accurate way. So I personally lean toward the red light approach. But with this, there are some disadvantages. Disadvantage number one, you may never be ready. If you're waiting until you're ready, or you're waiting on the go ahead from God, and sometimes that go ahead from God is us not being ready. I feel like people struggle in finding more ways to disqualify themselves then finding ways to overqualify themselves. Think about it in your own life. How many times have you underqualified yourself for a ministry, for a job opportunity, for anything and any good thing in life, versus overqualifying yourself? I never overqualify myself for something unless it's like doing 2 + 2 addition, but in things in life, in this stage of life, the things that come my way, I often, a lot more often, disqualify myself, find reasons to disqualify myself than to overqualify myself for something. See what I'm saying? We seem to overlook the obvious reasons why we should be pursuing a certain ministry or pursuing a certain opportunity in life. Advantages of the green light. We get started. Let's say you have an 18-wheeler and you want to move that in a direction. Well, if it's sitting still, it's going to be virtually impossible to steer it in any direction because it's not going in any direction. But if you start, and even if you start in a wrong direction, it's a lot easier to steer it in the right direction. So the fact that you're actually getting started is a huge advantage. The other thing, which is not really an advantage, but it's something good, you will learn that you are a lot more capable than you think in pursuing whatever you're pursuing that ministry, pursuing that good thing. God has already equipped me, He's equipped you, all of us, with everything we need for the journey. Some of those things may need a little refining. Some of that stuff needs to be chipped away at. But if we're moving forward, we'll learn from the mistakes and we'll know, okay, I'm not so good at this. I have a little natural talent at it, but it needs some work. This I'm really good at. Maybe I can focus my attention more on the thing that I lack, or maybe I can focus it on my strengths and build those. So when we're moving and we're in it and we're going, we learn real time. We mess up, we make mistakes, but we're learning and we're moving toward that goal and toward that ministry. And that brings us to the big disadvantage. Probably gonna make a lot of mistakes. If you're in the green light approach and you get an idea and you just go, then you don't have the luxury of figuring it out first. You just go and you figure it out on the way, which will it may give you some setbacks and it may take a little longer because of those setbacks, but a light at the end of that tunnel is you learn from those mistakes and you can move forward. So we've identified whether we're green light, whether we're red light. What do we do from there? How do we move forward from there? Well, you have to have an open line of communication with God, because even if you're taking the green light approach, there may be some red lights in the green light approach. There may be some stops. Don't do that. Don't go there. Don't pursue this. And in the red light approach, there may be some really obvious green lights that on your own and not talking to God, you may not know. And also, take calculated risks. It's okay to take a risk, but if I'm gonna jump out of an airplane, that risk is gonna be calculated. I am going to know that I have a parachute. I am gonna know that I have a backup parachute if that fails. I'm gonna know that I am strapped to a person that has done this thousands of times before. So it's okay to take risks. Risks are good, but I would say take a calculated risk. That's the green in me. Take a calculated risk, but maybe have a fail-safe for if the bottom falls out. Which approach do you take? I'd love to know. The green light approach or the red light approach? This has been a great talk. Like I said, I love doing visual storytelling and I like to talk. I'm an introvert. I do better in this situation than in front of actual people, but I do like to talk and discuss things. I love learning new things about people and learning things about life. So this may be something that I continue to do, having these talks from time to time. If you like it, give it a like. That's why I'll have some kind of meter of if this is good, even good or not. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be here and there on Instagram. Stay connected if you like these. And again, catch you in the next one. Peace.